Lightning jagged across the sky, a warning shot from a storm brewing over Willow Creek Estates. The air was thick, electric when sharp cracks split the silence, not thunder, but the sound of Wying way. From my kitchen window, I saw her, Eleanor Grayson, our HOA president, perched on a ladder in my backyard, hacking at my oak tree with a pair of pruning shears. Her navy blazer was pristine, her face set in a scowl of righteous fury. She wasn't just cutting a branch, she was dismantling my life's work. I'm Nathan Harper, a wildlife biologist who's lived in this manicured suburb for 5 years. My days are spent tracking ecosystems, but my passion lies in the small miracles of nature, like the cerulean warbler, a sapphire blue bird so rare it's nearly extinct. 3 custom cedar birdhouses hung in that oak, not mere feeders but sanctuaries I designed to draw those warblers to safety. I'd secured every permit, consulted with the state's Department of Natural Resources, and spent months calibrating their placement. For 10 days, they'd worked, attracting warblers and other migrants. My notebook brimmed with sightings, each entry a quiet Tory. Until Eleanor decided to play judge and jury. I flung open the back door, my coffee mug abandoned on the counter. "Eleanor, what are you doing?" I shouted, striding across the lawn. She paused, shears gleaming, and fixed me with a smile that could freeze blood. "Enforcing the rules, Nathan," she said, her voice laced with condescension. Section 6, Paragraph 10 of bylaws. No structures may be attached to trees visible from adjacent properties without board approval. You didn't file a request. I clenched my jaw, fighting to stay calm. Visible? My yard screened by a 6-foot fence. The only neighbor who might see them is Mrs. Callahan, who's 85 and loves the birds. These aren't decorations. Eleanor, part of a state conservation program. I have permits. She scoffed, resuming her assault. Permits don't override HOA standards. These boxes are ugly, and they're drawing pests. Squirrels, sparrows, vermin. I'm protecting our community. Those vermin are endangered cerulean warblers. I stepped closer, my voice rising. Federally protected. You're breaking the law. Stop now. She didn't flinch. My duty is to this neighborhood. You should have followed procedure. Her shears bit deeper, and with a sickening snap, the branch fell. The feeders crashed to the ground, splintering. One burst open, exposing a nest, 2 tiny eggs, cracked and leaking. My chest tightened. Those eggs were proof the warblers had chosen my yard, a fragile hope now shattered. I stood frozen as Eleanor folded her shears and smoothed her blazer. "There," she said, smug. "Order restored. You'll get a violation notice tomorrow. Possibly a fine." She marched off, her heels clicking on the path. Rage surged, but I didn't follow. Instead, I grabbed my phone and photographed the wreckage, the broken feeders, the ruined nest, the jagged branch. Destroying a cerulean warbler's nest wasn't just petty, it was a federal crime under the Endangered Species Act. I called my contact at the Wildlife Agency, DR, Sarah Klein, and sent her the images. Then I filed a police report, my fingers unsteady. The next morning, an envelope waited in my mailbox, stamped with the HOA's logo. Inside, a violation notice and a DULA, $200 fine for unauthorized modifications. I tucked it away, a grim smile forming. Eleanor had no clue what she'd unleashed. 2 days later, I was reviewing data when tires crunched outside. Through the blinds, I saw a Fish and Wildlife SUV parked at Eleanor's Tudor-style home. 2 officers stood on her porch, badges flashing as they handed her documents. Her posture stiffened, her hands fluttering like trapped birds. My doorbell rang 15 minutes later. Eleanor stood there, her blazer rumpled, her eyes wide with panic. "Nathan, what have you done?" Her voice trembled. "Those agents gave me a DULA, $5,000 fine, and mentioned criminal charges." "Prison, Nathan." I leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed. "I didn't do anything, Eleanor. You destroyed a cerulean warbler's nest, endangered, protected by federal law. I warned you. I had permits." Her mouth worked silently. "I was upholding the bylaws. I didn't know about any birds. You never told the board. That's not true, I said evenly. I emailed you 3 months ago, requesting a meeting to discuss the project. You replied, I'll handle it. You didn't. Her face paled. This could destroy me, she whispered. I'm a realtor. A fine like this. It'll ruin my reputation. Tell them it was a misunderstanding. I can't undo federal law, I said. But I'll see you at the emergency HOA meeting tonight. Your actions are on the agenda. Her eyes widened. How do you know? News spreads, I cut in, especially when it's this big. The community center was packed that evening, neighbors crammed into folding chairs, their whispers sharp with curiosity. Eleanor sat at the board table, her usual poise replaced by a rigid tension. Her hands twisted a pen until it cracked. I took a seat near the front, nodding to a few friends who'd admired the feeders. The VYC president, a retired judge named Helen Warwick, opened the meeting. Her voice was steady, slicing through the buzz. We're here to address a grave issue involving our president, Eleanor Grayson. Her actions have exposed the HOA to legal risk and violate wildlife protection laws. Eleanor tried to interrupt, but Helen raised a hand. You'll speak when it's time. For 30 minutes, the board dissected the mess. Eleanor's trespassing, the destroyed feeders, the federal investigation now looming. The HOA's attorney, a sharp woman named Laura, explained that insurance didn't cover VY dual members acting outside their authority. If the feds thought the HOA had sanctioned Eleanor's stunt, the whole community could face liability. When I was called to speak, I stood, holding a slim folder. I'm not here to point fingers, I said, meeting the room's eyes. I'm here because I care about this place. 4 months ago, I launched a conservation project for cerulean warblers, one of America's rarest birds. I got permits, built those feeders, and followed every rule. I emailed Eleanor to share my plans, but she never responded. 2 days ago, she destroyed my work in a warbler's nest without warning. I handed out copies of my permits and photos of the damage. The room went quiet, the weight of the images sinking in. Neighbors shifted, some glaring at Eleanor. When Eleanor spoke, her voice wavered. I was protecting our standards, she said. Those feeders violate the bylaws. I had no idea about endangered birds. Nathan didn't inform us properly. Helen pulled a document from her folder. That's inaccurate, Eleanor. Here's Nathan's email from February 8th, requesting a board meeting. Your reply is logged. You said you'd take care of it. You didn't share it with us. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Eleanor's face flushed, her hands gripping the table. I forgot, she stammered. But I acted for the community. The bylaws don't allow trespassing or property destruction, Helen interrupted. You overstepped. The vote was swift. Eleanor was removed as president, effective immediately. She was ordered to reimburse me due law $1,000 for the feeders and cover any fines tied to her actions. The HOA would issue a statement disavowing her to dodge liability. Eleanor sat still as the decision landed, her eyes glassy. As the meeting broke up, neighbors approached me. Can we help rebuild? Asked Maria, a nurse who'd watched the birds with her kids. I want to learn more, said Greg, a carpenter from down the street. I nodded, promising to share details about the program. Hope flickered amidst the chaos. But the night had one more twist. As I packed my things, a police officer entered, his presence silencing the room. He walked to Eleanor, who clutched her purse like a shield. Eleanor Grayson? He asked. She nodded, barely breathing. He handed her a document. This is a summons for criminal mischief, destruction of property, and violation of the Endangered Species Act. You're to appear in federal court next Wednesday. The prosecutor is seeking up to 6 months in prison and fines up to due law $10,000. Eleanor's hand trembled as she took the paper. Her eyes flicked to me, but I looked away. She'd built this mess herself. The next week was a whirlwind. Neighbors pitched in to rebuild the feeders, bringing tools and enthusiasm. The Wildlife Agency sent a specialist to monitor the site, and we set up a camera to track active VY. Birds returned finches, sparrows, then, one dawn, a cerulean warbler, its blue wings a defiant spark. I logged it, my pen steady. Eleanor's court date passed quietly. She pleaded guilty, escaping jail, but paying the fine and losing her realtor's license for a year. The neighborhood hummed with talk, but I stayed focused in the oak, the feeders, the sky. Some fights, I'd learned, were worth waging. And some battles, like Eleanor's, were lost before they began. If you were the one in this story, how would you react? Would you stand up and fight back, or accept the unreasonable pressure and control from the HOA? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video with more people. Your small action gives us the motivation to keep bringing you more intense and engaging stories. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.